road was through sales. So I've always been more of an extrovert. I enjoyed talking to people. So sales was kind of a natural extension of what I like to do. In business development, you get closer to product and engineering. So I wanted to get closer to products I could touch and feel. And a little bit earlier in the product life cycle versus in sales, you kind of take the end product and you take it to market. But in business development, you're in very early, trying to figure out maybe the value prop between the two products, or how do you really get scale around something. And I thought that was a little bit more complex thinking. And so it was really just through a course of networking, knowing the right people, and then just getting someone to take a bet on you, really.
So my previous company was Samsung. I started out more on the product side, so product management for mobile products, so the Galaxy lines. It's a natural process, I would say, and since I was part of a small group, it involved many different elements, including some of the external partnerships, and that's how I got into BD. And at Spotify, that has been my primary focus.
I think I've been doing it so many years. I've done a bunch of different things. I ran partnerships, I ran finance, I ran marketing. I've been at startups, I've been at big companies. I started doing the M&A as just part of the finance role many years ago. And so it's just been a build-up over the years, and this is kind of where I ended up.
I've had a long journey. So I've spent about half of my career in product, on the product side, primarily at enterprise companies, and primarily at enterprise startups. And then I've spent the other half of my career on the BD side at consumer companies like Microsoft and Google. So I've been back and forth between product and BD for about the last 18 years. I came to spend a lot of time with the Facebook team, and really it was one of those rare moments in time right now where we've got a 1 billion user plus platform. We've got a pretty lean BD team, we can call it about 8 or 9 people, that are working on the biggest and most strategic deals, and it's one of those things where we've got a lot of partners and a lot of users and a lot of stuff still to figure out.
I'm sure everyone has a different path to BD. For me, I think I started my career on the technical side, and then I shifted all the way to something like completely business and very high level, doing strategy. I think I had realized when I was doing strategy that I wanted something more concrete. Like I wanted to be able to do some of the strategic decisions while sort of still be able to be very hands-on. And I think BD is something that sort of allows you to do that. So that's kind of how I from a career standpoint found myself in BD. I think how I ended up at Automatic very specifically is, what I really enjoy is the technical side of all businesses or all products and tools. And Automatic is a very technical company, so I love being able to work with engineers and work on the products directly with them. And so that's kind of what I really enjoy and how I got here.
I started in product, ran product for several companies, and then my desire, honestly, was to go down to smaller and smaller companies over time. And I guess just naturally I was better in front of clients, partners, etc. And was always the right-hand person for the CEO. So when you're right-hand person for the CEO, it means you're partner-facing all the time. And that's how I kind of ended up in BD.
I started out actually in very much a technical support role coming out of college. I studied computer science for undergrad, and then ended up going to Google for about 4 years and worked in a bunch of different very technically oriented products that were geared more towards developers. So the Google Analytics API, the Google Checkout API, their open social standard. I left from there and actually ended up going to business school for a while. Finished that and came back. Wanted to do still a very technically facing role, but wanted to work more with external facing partners. So I joined Twitter and started working on their platform, specifically sort of assisting and working very closely with Twitter's BD team on critical strategic partnerships, if you will. And I normally got deployed when the product manager or the engineer from the other side of the table would get involved, and then we'd start to work together on the integration. And I was at Twitter for almost 2.5 years, and then joined Pinterest about 9 months ago now.
Oh, my story's so strange. So I've flipped between product and business development, and then I don't know many people that have done full product and like run spec, design, wireframe, and then also done sort of multinational, international deals. So mine was the company that the companies that I was always acting as the product manager, going along to sell some of the deals when we were getting sort of corporate development. So when companies were looking to buy my last company, I was apprenticing and watching and observing how all these guys did the deals that they did, and I just picked up tips like, how did you do that? Why did you tell the engineers that they should say yes every time, etc. So some of those things I talked about tonight. And then when I went to start Boku, I ran product and marketing, and I found myself going out and pitching Zynga and Facebook and representing both. And eventually, my co-founder was like, why don't you just take over business development? And so I just did it, and that's kind of how I came to be a business development guy. And interestingly, right now, I'm a VP of product. So I keep switching backwards and forwards because it's fun.